Hey everyone, I'm finally live here with you. Sorry, made a mistake. I think I deleted the one that I've made for you guys to sign in. But I'm live now, so you're gonna see it on your feed, and hopefully you will join. Today live is about forgiveness, as I wrote before on my post, and I've got a great feedback about that, right? So it's quite complex topic and there is a lot to talk about and a lot to think about. And the biggest questions that I've got is like, well, why would you want to forgive somebody? Why do you want to forgive everybody? How do you bring yourself to do that? And is it kind of like you have to trick yourself into forgiving and all these things? Uh, but I find people very frequently don't make a distinction between forgetting, forgiving, and letting things slide versus letting negative emotions go. So this is what I want to talk about. So forgiveness is necessary for you to move on properly, um, going into the future, looking into the future, so you don't harbor the negative resentment your emotional negative resentment, because it builds on over time and other problems come up and compound on it, and it's like a vicious cycle that never ends. And you have to, so the first thing is, like, if you are not willing to forgive, that, like, forgiving doesn't mean that this person was right. This is first thing to say. Doesn't mean that the person was right or circumstances were great. No, this is all actual facts, and you were maybe something went wrong and you were done wrong. However, um, if you just think about that part, then yes, this is true. But it doesn't mean that you have to keep your hurt, because you got emotionally hurt and emotionally attached. And every time something similar comes up, this event comes into your life again. You're reliving it, thinking about it, right? So it's different if you think about it logically, like what happened and how can you avoid that and learn from the lesson, versus when you just dwell dwell on saying like emotionally attached. So um, you keep feeling sad and you keep feeling like a victim. So like forgiveness actually is empowering you to take charge of your own actions and to change things in your life. So it's, when I say it's for you, it is really for you, because you will feel stronger if you find strength to forgive. And you can start with small things or big things, right? Whatever, I would say, whatever is most feeling oppressive to you, if you feel grudge towards somebody that so-called wrong you, you have to go and take a look at it and um, take yourself out of the situation emotionally and process it logically and forgive the emotions, like forgive that that person, like what emotions you went through and whatever circumstances need to be done, like in the actual facts. That's different from your emotion, like um, gives you that deep wounds that reemerge from time to time, right? Like when circumstances come, and it's not easy, and it's not like in 5 minutes you can do it. You come back to some things you can let go easier. They're like easier to deal with, and some you will have to come back when you're ready, and go through the thinking and through the feeling, like feel what you need to feel and then release it. Like if you need to cry or yell or whatever, or write it down, it's the best. Like write down all your feelings about that situation. Writing down will help you to later read and process it without the emotion. Like journaling specific event um, that you want to forgive to yourself or somebody else. Write it down and write it with the emotion, like what you feel. I feel I feel hurt because so and so said that and it wasn't fair because I am not doing that and that, but person doesn't understand and they were not understanding, and just write it all how you think. Just write that and leave it for a while, and then you come back to it and work on that again. Read through it and see what kind of other feelings come up. And when you read through that you wrote, you feel how your feeling changed and how you're remembering the facts and remembering the feeling changed, because every time you remember things, you relive them in a little bit of a different light. Uh, so I'm really, why I'm preaching this forgiveness so much, it's because it gives you power to change your feeling of reality, like how you live. It gives you power, like you're not going to feel like, oh, everybody around me, like everybody has difficult things in their life. Like it happens to everybody. There's no perfect life. And those people who harbor them, eventually it comes back to them, like compound stress, compound guilt, compound shame. And those are not good feelings that give you this heaviness, and they don't let you, kind of like your emotions stop you from trying things or doing things, because you have this emotional experience attached to all these events from the past, and it really impacts your abilities to build something different because you're still attached to the past. So in order to do something completely different, you have to let go of that. And mainly it's emotions. We are very emotional. We get hijacked by our emotions all the time. True story. And so we have to work on that all the time. Things come up, we get upset, and that's okay. And we have to learn to let go as soon as we can, to process it and let go of it. And don't let it sit and steer and add more and more to this. So then you become more empowered because you can let go, you can move on, and you can start something different. Otherwise, you get stuck in all the grudges and vengeance and feeling sorry and feeling oppressed. And life is life. It's an experience. It's not always great, not always pleasant. There is pain, there is this, there is that, there's so many things, but there is love, there is happiness too. Like there's a lot of things. And for reason of our previous need for survival, we seem to cling to those negative more because they're supposed to help us survive in the future, right? But a lot of them are not real survival because we have stress from so many things that are not gonna make it or break it in our life, but we still harbor them. Somebody said something, social media, somebody didn't like, put a comment, and we're just keeping all that inside. And this is where you start your forgiveness journey. Pick up one of the things you want to work on and start working on it, and start, like, if it's something serious, like for example, maybe you don't like how your parents brought you up in some ways, and you have that resentment and you don't even think about it maybe, but you do have it, and that might be preventing you from some other things you want to do. Write them down or think through them. Like if you meditate, then after sit and think about and think through things, right? And why you feel that way and what do you think they felt and how do you think that came about, and then just let it be. Sit with it. And then after a couple of rounds, depends on how deep that feeling was, you will be able to start letting go of it and forgiving. And again, if okay, somebody stole something from you, it doesn't mean that person doesn't have to face the like the consequences of that, right? That's totally different, and they need to, like, that's how life works. But you don't have to keep feeling the victim in this situation. You have to let go of that and just go with the, you know, the letter of the law, let's say. Like somebody was saying gossip about you, it's very unpleasant. But you have to work on yourself, because this is the only person that you can change, right? And if you want a better outcomes, then you have to start clearing yourself, cleaning up your emotional field. And that starts with forgiveness, goes into gratefulness. And you start forgiving this and that, and some things you work on and you write through, and you come back and think again. Maybe you need to cry about. If those people are around, you can try to reach out and talk through things. Sometimes those people have passed away, or you moved, or they moved. You can't do that, and that's okay. You talk to yourself through the situation. That person has to deal with their own things on their own. You can't, your forgiveness to them, they're not gonna get uh, anything deep from that. Yeah, they're gonna say like, oh, they forgot or they forgave me, but that is not the deep work. They need to do their own work on that. And you probably have your own, like, for me, it was much harder to forgive myself some of the things and decisions that I made than forgiving others. Forgiving others is easier for me. And I had a lot of resentment toward myself because of things, and I had to work through this in cycles, and start feeling better, and then again work through this, and again, and you do that through time, whatever. It will take time, but it will get better and better and easier. And then when you work on that, you will feel grateful too. So it kind of goes together, the forgiveness and the gratefulness. So I was planning to have a more of a discussion, but because the live, I didn't go live on the same page. So it's more like a spontaneous live, even though the time is the same. But I don't have a chat now. It's not working. So anyhow, I really hope this is helpful, and it is a deep conversation. It's not something you can talk about in 10 minutes and solve everything, right? It has to be specific. If you have a specific situation that you would like to let go of, reach out to me. I always have a 45 conversation you can book with me, free of any constraints, and we can go and talk through your situation and to see how you can start thinking about that process. Okay? Take care. Till see you again. Bye.